Hello. This video is dedicated to all you fucking Doom nuts out there. Um, I'm not huge on the Space Marines. I barely even wanted to make the fucking green one, but I did. And then when I did, I kind of got bit, and I was like, well, I kind of want to make a blue one and make him kind of based around the Doom 2 cover, and make him my Doom guy. So this is technically my Doom guy here. I gave him 3 different interchangeable heads. Ugh, it's cold, so they don't pop off really easy when it's cold. And they don't even go on very easy, too. Bust your fucking knuckles. But, and then I gave him these interchangeable hands, too. So he can hold some guns and shit. These were fists for, this is a Guile figure from Street Fighter when Soda made them. Back in the early 2000s or whatever, mid 2000s. But I cut his fists off and used a Sigma 6 Storm Shadow hand, because they were the first series. They had kind of tiny hands, and they had these fucking. It's funny how later on they evolved into a really animated look, and the hands were like 3 times the size. But the early ones they were kind of small. But anyways, that's my Doom guy there, and then I eventually ended up making the helmet. I didn't want to make one, but I was just like, fuck it, just to make them all match. Once I made him, I was like, well, shit, I kind of want to make some more. But back in the day when I used to play Doom on my PC growing up, I probably played Doom all through my 3rd, all the way up to 6th grade, just like nonstop. Barely went outside, and got a hold of, one time went to the store and found some weird Doom thing and bought it, and it ended up being some of the levels that people had made. And holy shit, did Doom become a whole nother thing after that. Like you'd go in a level where you'd fight like 10 cyber demons and shit like that, and just some fucking crazy wacky shit. And it was way funner than regular Doom. After that, man, Jesus. Stuff you had to use codes on, otherwise you couldn't get through it. There's no fucking way. But it was fun. But anyway, so this is my this guy's this is the green Space Marine. I just call this a Doom Space Marine. I don't really call him my Doom guy. He's the color green means you die all the time. Like in Star Trek. Just kidding. But he's on a Punisher figure from Marvel Legends, right when Hasbro took over. I can't remember what series that was. But, God, there was a fucking surplus of these things here in Arizona. They were all over the place. And I wish I would have bought more of them, because they make good Fallout figures, too. I'm going to be using... I just picked one up the other day, so I'll probably be using that shit, but for Fallout, not Doom. But anyways, so there's my green one, and I made a dead green guy to fucking match, of course. But I also made all the weapons, if you can't tell, so I'm pretty sure you're wondering if this thing shoots. Boom! Well, shit, man. I was gonna say, I thought it used to shoot better than that. That one does too. Ooh. See, that's the good one there. That's right, the fucking purple one's the better one. But, oh yeah, let me get these guys out of here. I put them in there just because, they're basically Space Marines too, but, and then, so here's my red Space Marine. It's a chick, and, I don't really have a name for her, but Speed Demon's her nickname, and, she's a crazy gothic chick who's addicted to drugs and likes to fucking run circles around everything and blast them to shit. How the fuck do they sound? Anyways, it does shoot. That's actually one of my best guns. But she's all right. She doesn't stand up very well. She kind of sucks at that. But this is a old what the fuck is Jean Grey's and fucking Cyclops' son or daughter? What the fuck's her name? Something Summers. Rachel Summers, I think. I don't know. Whatever. But I think it's her. And Didn't really do a whole lot. Just sculpt that and the fucking put some pockets on her. It's a partial sculpt. Pretty much all these are. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of fucking work on these things. And this guy is the Javelina. He's one badass Mexican dude who loves the fact that he's the brown Marine too. He takes pride in that. Even though everyone else made fun of him, he knocks the fucking shit out of them if they do. He likes to walk in a room with fucking double chain guns and just blast the fuck out of people. Or hack them up with the chainsaw. His other preferred method. But he's on a old junkyard dog wrestling figure. So he doesn't have very good articulation at all. But, and God, his helmet really rubs his ear off there. But I cut off his hair and I just sculpted a bald head. I didn't want to do a whole lot of work on these fucking Marines. But in the end, I actually, I really enjoyed making all these different colors. But the brown Space Marine, I thought it'd be cool. I always thought these things looked like, the helmets look like pigs. But, I mean, now that I've looked at so much Doom art, I don't think anyone else sees it that way. But to me, I always thought it'd be fucking cool to see somebody with turn it into like a fucking, like a warthog type fucking helmet. But, and it had to be the brown fucking guy, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much the Space Marines there. The fucking guns they're all fucking, I cut the handles off of previous guns. Like, these are the Hydra guns from Marvel Legends. I have a bunch of them. So, and they came with 2 guns each, and they have the same exact handle on both guns. So, I just used a bunch of the pistols. And then this is a piece that came off of the guns that came from this, which were, oh shit, they're way down there. Gosh, I hope I didn't have all that stuff hanging down there. God dang, I'm so bad at that. But, same thing. So the Hydra gun handles. Then this is the chain gun. It was from like some corpse figure or whatever. So those little cheap fucking figures you get, like they're knockoffs of G.I. Joes. But they looked really stupid. But I cut the chain gun part off and just sculpted this out of fucking aluminum foil. And this was the top of that gun. It was a rail on that crazy looking Gatling gun, and I was like, well, fuck it. It looks like he's got a rail down there below, so I'll fucking just use those. This is not totally accurate at all, but I tried to get it kind of close. Like, obviously, this thing here has got some fucking weird shit going on where there's like 2 or 3 arms. I don't fucking know. I don't think anyone really truly knows. But I used Legos for this. Just trimmed them down and filled in the gaps with some fucking clay. And same thing, aluminum up here like I always do. But the whole body. So I trimmed the shit out of these fucking, what are they called? Marvel Showdown. It's some like tiny Marvel figures they made a long time ago, and they came with really small guns that work really fucking good. And I only have 4 of them. I wish I had more, but I don't. And I had 2 that matched, and I was like, well, I'm gonna take the fucking opportunity and make 2 BFGs instead of 1. But and I thought they matched totally. They're the exact same gun, but the missiles were 2 different sizes, so they don't quite match. One doesn't shoot the other missile, but one shoots both. But anyways, brain fart, whatever they fucking sound like, they're crazy sounding. And the missile launcher fucking works. It didn't work. I had to fucking, after I was done with everything, I just did it with a razor yesterday. Cleaned out all that gunk. And because the missile wasn't fucking shooting, I was like, man, it worked just fine from the beginning, and now it doesn't. Boom! Boom! It's one of my best guns now. Fuck. And, well, let me explain these two here real quick. Hold on. Resident Evil shotgun, I just trimmed it, and then tremeled the back to, anyways, Evil Dead shotgun. I put some green stuff on there to make the barrel bigger, but goddamn did it come out lumpy looking. I don't like green stuff. It's hard to fucking work with compared to Magic Sculpt. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre from McFarlane. Anyways, just painted it yellow and black. I actually repainted it because I did it more true to the Doom colors. But anyways, the plasma rifles. So this is the first one I made. I made this goddamn 2 years ago. And I used a He-Man gun. And it's just tiny and it doesn't fit in his fucking hand. He always drops it. In fact, it fits in nobody's fucking hand. It's basically garbage now. But I had a weird green gun from the Marvel Showdowns, and it was, in particular, smaller than the other ones. So I trimmed the shit out of it. I was like, well, maybe I can make it work for a fucking plasma rifle. Pick that up real quick. And it did. And then I came up with a dilemma that this goddamn, the mechanism back here, it just wouldn't, it's not going to work for the barrel, so I had to do an extension. I used a straw. So I super glued the straw on there, and about an hour or two later, I let that fucker dry real good. And like an hour or two later, I came back and I very, very lightly put some clay on there. And then I would stick the rocket back in there, and I would just barely bring that stuff out. I was so gentle doing it, and it looks like I'm stroking a dick, but man, does this thing shoots like a motherfucker. I love it. But yeah, I ended up, so once that dried, and then I sculpted these on over it. So this is probably kind of delicate, but that rail is fucking sculpted too. I didn't take that off a gun. It's my first time sculpting a rail like that, having it come out with, having it kind of come out straight. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the Doom guys. There's really not a whole lot to say. I don't like fucking painting faces, especially on these. Like, this guy's head's so fucking tiny. It's the same size as her fucking head. I mean, seriously, the fuck are you guys smoking when you put this fucking figure out? Same thing with the skinniness. Look at this shit. He's like a paper thin, but he's like normal this way. Paper thin this way. Well, I bulked him up because he's got a little shit there. But anyways, if you look at the original figure, it's pretty lousy looking. But these are, I didn't explain that either. These are aluminum. What I do is I put the aluminum around their head, and I don't put it in their face, obviously. I just do like a little, like it just goes over. And then I'll put a light layer of clay on. This is early, so this is a long time ago. I'd probably even do a lighter coat nowadays, but what I did back then was put it on, and then I dremeled the fucking shit out of it, which that takes a lot of time dremeling shit. So now I've learned how to put the clay on a lot thinner. So the water helps do that. In fact, I haven't even done a helmet since I've done the water with with the clay. It really helps smooth it out and get it really thin. If you want it thin, it's up to you. I don't know what this gun was. I forgot about that guy too. I'm not really sure what this gun was. I think it's I thought it was a fucking Star Wars gun, but I think it's a Sigma 6, because I do remember now that it had a grappling hook, and the rope came out the string came out the back here. So too big for fucking, because the grappling hook is like that big, I think. Too big for, god dang it, I'm on the fucking side again. God damn, this looks like a dick too. What is up with those guys, man? They make everything look like dicks, don't they? The rocket and where'd that rocket go? God damn, everything's on the ground. God, the rocket looks like a pee-pee. And the rocket launcher does too. Oh, let's shoot that guy one more time. See if we can knock him down this time. Whatever. The fucking explosion would have killed him. Ah! And then he looks like that. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.